Good evening and welcome everybody to the Jane Live Miracle Medicine Show, the 365 Healthy by Choice Nutrients, where we have a look at live case studies. I share my knowledge, I share my practical experiences with you, and welcome all your questions as well, so we can live and learn, and more importantly even get ourselves organized, ourselves at maximum health, and share the information with others, which is really happening. And I'm delighted to be experiencing this. And as more and more people benefit from food state nutrients and natural health, and we are doing it, we are showing it to everybody that we can do it. And together with the quantum devices, we are just really in a new paradigm, in the new quantum medicine. So welcome all, and thank you for being with us. An honor and a privilege always. So today I want to talk about blood clotting, quite a hot topic at the moment, with all sorts of things causing the blood clotting. I'm going to go through some of them, and the rest of the research you can do yourselves, and really just, I think, spark an interest and a desire also to keep the blood thin, and why we should keep it thin. I mean, why do we need thin blood? And there's one very simple reason: because the blood carries food, but most importantly, oxygen to the cells. And if the blood is thick and sluggish and full of toxins and old pieces of triglycerides and cholesterol and fats, and if it's coating on the sides of the vessels, even worse, because the diameter of the vessel gets thinner, narrower, we are just not getting enough oxygen to the cell per minute, and therefore the tissue, and therefore the organs as well. And that's just a catastrophe, because those cells then will break down, degenerate, and if there's enough degenerating happening, then we start getting benign and malignant areas within somebody. So a very important aspect of that is to transfer the oxygen. And that's why, with the recent goings on and events in the world, everybody is focusing on the oximeter, and they're focusing on blood saturation, oxygen levels, and I'll talk a little bit about that a bit later on. And the real deal about oxygen is getting it into the cell. So I'll share some of that with you a little bit later. And lovely to see you all here. Lovely. Let me, just while I'm talking, pull in the slide that I wanted to bring in. Just to show you some pictures of blood and what we really are talking about when we're talking about clotting and so on. Oh, there it is. Just to give you more of an idea about it, not so much abstract. I always like to be very real and grounded about what we do. And, what we measure, we can manage. And not only that, what we measure, we know. So, evidence-based medicine is all about that. And also, bringing in the patient's responses too. So let me see what's happening here. Why doesn't it want to bring it in? Let me have another look. Just try again. Sorry, I'll just be a sec. Well, where did it go to? It was all here a minute ago. Hold on a sec. And just type it in again. There's a chance I might have to just save it as another document. Let's just see. Anyway, this is a really favorite. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to save it as another document. Just hold on. Let me go back there. It's a very hot topic and favorite topic of mine because it's kind of like the beginning and the end of everything. We've got to have enough blood that's operating properly with the right amount of hemoglobin, iron, white blood cells, red blood cells, platelets, immunoglobulins, in order to do the job for us. So let me just try and save this once more. And then I'll be back with you. Change. Try again. Gosh, that's funny. Really, 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 really funny. Otherwise, I will just have to show it through the PowerPoint. But this is just really weird. Unless I've been trying to pull it through as a video and not a slide. I think that's probably what I've been doing. Sorry. We have it. Okay, perfect. I was pulling it in as a video. All right. As I said to you, it's crucial for me. It's crucial for realigning patients, restoring and resetting. We have to get this blood correct. And too many things are causing the clotting, including things like radiation, toxicity, and also things like environmental and chemical toxins are also causing the red blood cells and platelets and things to agglutinate. So just be aware of all those things. And let's have a look here and see what I put together. So we're talking about blood clotting, causes and prevention. So here we have the blood clotting, the red blood cells clotting over here, and that's going to make the blood very thick. So this is a red blood cell aggregation of red blood cells, a clot. You also get platelet clots as well. So this is what we call bright field, and this one here is there's another clot there of agglutination of red blood cells, and this is dark field microscopy. So you can see their red blood cells. They're actually open and apart, but here they're not. They're all grouped together. Similarly here, but these red blood cells in this picture you can see are damaged. There's free radical damage everywhere here. All the ones, and this picture, these cells are not as good as these cells in this picture. But I wanted to show you what's going on here, and these clots get bigger and bigger and bigger. And there's probably 80% of people walking around right now with some form of clotting in the blood, which isn't so good. So what this amounts to, there's the clot there, is it's called a Zeta potential. So these red blood cells have got a good enough negative charge around them, all right, to make sure that they do not touch. They're floating on their own independently with the Zeta potential, whereas these ones here have lost their cell membrane potential. We talk a lot about cell membrane potential. And this is an electromagnetic function of cells, of atoms. They don't ever touch unless they're sick, unless the charge is wrong. See, here we have an abnormal Zeta potential, and here we have the normal one. And these are our red blood cells. Okay, white blood cells operate differently. They don't really have a membrane. They're really interesting and gorgeous things, if you don't mind me saying. They really don't have a cell membrane. Okay. But they've grouped together. So there's atoms working together in molecules. Then we get the platelets as well, which are responsible for clotting. And these will also clot. And I'm going to show you some of the causes in a moment. And here's another picture, the Zeta potential again, the sticky blood, the cell membrane has not got the right charge. Stuck together, lots of stress will cause this kind of a picture, lots of toxicity. And here we have the generally free-floating red blood cells. So that's even it's touching a little bit, but it's just to show you an example. That happens to be a white blood cell. You see, like I said to you, there's not really a membrane there. Now, they look gorgeous. I love seeing them under the microscope, especially after our Reset, Restore, Rejuvenate program, because these white blood cells are just huge and lovely. So here again is the electrical charge, just for those of you who are following and like to know a little bit more. You see, they call it a negative net. And that's around the cell membrane, and that's around every single cell of our body. So, the blood is a really good indicator. And also, it's often the last to show disease. So you must know, if you see disease in the blood, it really is established. And then here is the Zeta potential, this shear plane Zeta potential. You see? And that forms that the layer around the membrane where the other red blood cells won't come in and touch. Okay. So that, I think with that in mind, that's the red blood cells. The platelets behave differently. And a lot of that has got to do with vitamin K levels. Too much vitamin K will cause clotting. Too little vitamin K will result in the blood being too thin. All right. So then let's see here. I've got some of the causes. And right, if the acidity and the pH of the body are not maximized, pH 7.4, we will find clumping. We will find that electrical charge around the membrane is also not optimum if the pH is not optimum, because you find that there's not the right dynamic of minerals in the blood, in the plasma and around that cell. So that's important. Inflammation also, the higher the inflammation, the more the stickiness, definitely. And that will be due to the nature of the hormones that are released. And then many foods will also cause the blood to be thick. And that's why we at 365 Healthy by Choice focus on the blood group food and eat right for your type. That's Dr. P.J. Adamo. And we've seen it with a microscope. We've seen it on the quantum devices. Eating according to your blood group, and remember it's a guide, is eating in an anti-inflammatory way, non-inflammatory. And they've shown that, for example, an O blood group eating too many avocado pears will cause the blood to clot. A B blood group person eating chicken will have thick blood. And we don't want thick blood, not under any circumstances ever, because we are not going to get maximum oxygen to the cell per minute. So a thick blood is really an indication of a sick body and sick cells. So we have to fix that very quickly. And you can do what else you like, but if you don't get these basics right, you're not going to get completely well, I'm afraid. So foods play a very important part, and especially also processed foods and acidic foods and, you know, that kind of thing. Raw vegetables and fruits and things with the structured water inside will not cause the blood to clot. Then, of course, parasites and pathogens are very, very important. Many of the parasites actually live and grow inside the red blood cell. And then when they mature, they leave the red blood cell and start swimming in the blood. Now, all of that makes the blood really thick. So we want to definitely bring the parasites down and the pathogens, the bacteria, fungi, yeasts, so that the circulation is happening maximally as well, because these things will clump. It will cause the blood to clump. They will cause the red blood cells to lose their Zeta potential, their negative membrane charge, and slow the blood down. Similarly, you know, like under foods, heated oil, triglycerides, cholesterol will also make the blood really thick and heavy and sluggish and slow. And then the pathogens will grow even more, and you throw in a little bit of stress and it gets even worse, and you throw in some radiation, it gets even worse. So we have to start eliminating all these root causes. Toxins, that would be environmental chemical toxins, again, are going to have the effect of destroying the Zeta potential, destroying the electrical charge around the cell membrane of the red blood cells, and that is going to cause them to clump, and they're going to cause free radical damage, and cells that have got free radical damage have lost their cell membrane charge, so they will clump together. We definitely don't want that. Smoking, of course, definitely thickens the blood. I think we all know that. And then certain medicines. And as I said, we can throw in radiation there as well. So right now we've been being bombarded by lots and lots of aberrant negative forces, and we need to get to the point where we know what they are, and then we need to put up barriers and shields and operate responsibly. So what am I saying by responsibility? Would you leave your gate open at night? No, you wouldn't. You'll close your gate. It's the same thing. It's being responsible. We need to be responsible for our body, and we actually need to help our body, because the liver can only do so much. The kidney can only do so much. The lungs, the skin, the gut, in terms of detox and elimination. So it's good to come in and help the body at this point in time, this point in our lives. So let's see what we can do to help our body, help our system. Of course, and critical and number one is breathing, because the breath, the oxygen detoxifies us. We have 3 minutes to detoxify the body. Otherwise, the toxicity level gets so high that we will die. So the role of oxygen, it's the breath, but it's the oxygen is an oxidant. It's a free radical scavenger. It's corrosive. It will oxidize and cleanse us with every breath. So imagine if you're only breathing in the top part because you're stressed. You're only breathing in the top part of your lungs. What about the rest? So you're only getting 25% of the oxygen coming in that should be coming in. That's a very big problem. So the breath and breathing, we know oxygen is king, and we've got to get that oxygen in properly. And there's many exercises that you can do, breathing exercises. Otherwise, just plain and simple, sit straight, breathe into the bottom of the lungs, breathe the whole lot out. If you don't breathe out, then you're going to create acidosis in the blood, the brain, and all the other major organs. So breathing will definitely thin the blood, create the right charge around the cells of the entire body, in fact. Almost Gold, our favorite. Almost Gold is a product that, due to its high frequency, it will create a negative charge, full of electrons, with a very, very high frequency. What do I mean by that? A high life force. They're spinning around the nucleus and the proton very, very fast, very tightly bound, full of life force. So life force is going to get the right constituency in the blood for us and the right electromagnetical charge. So anything I'm speaking about in regard to 365, healthy by choice, and some other nutrients you'll see, it's about the life force. Okay, so we've got to that point now. We need to bring the life force in so that the cells can get the right charge. Okay, and foods that are anti-life force, that drain us, are going to have this directly negative effect. So the Almost Gold is an absolutely magnificent product for doing that, and that's why it helps so much with pneumonias and people because it also works at the membrane potential between the lung and the blood, helping the transfer of oxygen. So does flaxseed oil, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But cold-pressed flaxseed oil also works at that membrane potential, allowing the oxygen through, as does the oxygen transferase enzymes, which you find in the microbiome reset, as well as the hydrolase enzymes. So we're bringing everything in to also assist the oxygen transfer. So the breath is one thing, and then to have the right nutrients and enzymes to transfer the oxygen across into the blood and then into the cells. So it's simple, actually. You just got to know it all. Iodine is one of my absolute favorites. You want to see the blood after one capsule of iodine. You will not believe it. Those red blood cells have got a momentum of their own. They are moving across the screen, and every single one of them has a Zeta potential. Iodine literally, on impact, will kill pathogens, just to tell you. So it just goes in there with its potential, and it cleans up and cleans up and cleans up all the free radicals, thinning the blood, but getting this absolute momentum and movement. So the blood is not stagnant. So it brings that charge in beautifully, as well as warding off radiation. So don't forget, iodine is a very, very important part of our toolkit. So we're giving away all our secrets here, which we want you to take out there and share and use. The Cell Vitality Oxy Mineral Drops, well, those we've been through many, many, many times. And you want to see the blood after this as well. You want to see the blood after Almost. You want to see the blood after the flaxseed oil. It's just chalk and cheese. It's completely, completely different. And I mean, I challenge anyone. You come, you do what we say, come back in a week. Some people do, come back in 2 weeks. We want to see, we will show you your blood. We will show you what's happened. Okay. It even starts pulling the fat out of the lymphatic system. And you see these pools of blood pouring out and then moving away. So the Cell Vitality Oxy Minerals will pull the electron envelope off, the outer envelope off, which has got the wrong charge, okay, because it scavenges all the wrongly charged matter, all of it. It pulls the electron envelope off, rendering all the particles inactive, and then that electron envelope will strike the chlorine dioxide, spitting off the chlorine. The oxygen is free to go straight into the cells, and the chlorine binds with the sodium. You've got salt, normal salt, and that's very important for the sodium potassium pump. The NA part is very, very important. Anyway, that's enough for another lecture, but we need the sodium pump working also at the cell membrane. Okay, so how are we doing here? Those drops are critical. So iodine and chlorine are on the same periodic table, and they will go and scavenge the bromine and the fluorine, the negative minerals in that periodic table line. Right, now we've also got a DMSO. So dimethyl sulfoxide. It's the sulfur here that we're looking at, because the sulfur is absolutely critical for detoxification. So anything that's going to detox the body is going to bring back the normal electromagnetic charge, the electromagnetic potential of every cell membrane, the membrane of the red blood cells, and they're going to clean away degenerative platelets. And because we're cleaning and detoxifying, we are allowing the body's immune system to rebuild, reboot. So you will then see the new red blood cells, new white blood cells, new platelet being formed, the immunoglobulins, beta T, NKF cells, all starting to get formed because we are clearing away the load on the body. All the toxins are leaving, the body can self-regenerate. So very lovely to see, and especially when you see the size of those white blood cells, they're just beautiful. So we've also got our herbal para-immune defense, which has got 7 of the top, strongest antifungals, antibacterials, anti-yeasts, powder arco, those kind of herbs, absolutely critical. They potentiate each other and, again, clear away the toxins, allowing the right electromagnetic charge to come back, which will prevent clotting, the red blood cells sticking together, the agglutination of the platelets. So DMSO does that. The para-immune will do that. And inside the para-immune defense, I'll show you just now, we have also herbs that have got the shikimic acid as well, which is antiplatelet aggregation too. So we also have our blood vessel cleanse and restore. And this product has got a lot of ingredients in it to cleanse the blood specifically. So it's got the echinacea, it's got the Triphala in it, and it's got the turmeric in it, and it's got a bee pollen in it, which also brings oxygen in. It's got vitamin C, citrus bioflavonoids in it, pomegranate, MSM with the sulfur. So we've put that in there. Siberian ginseng, which also oxygenates the body. So the bee pollen and the Siberian ginseng will assist the body's utilization of oxygen. Similarly, the supercell oxygen that we have, which has got cordyceps and Siberian ginseng in it, also enhances the body's utilization of oxygen. So that's what I want to speak about just now, about people who are having lung problems. The turmeric, I said, and, those kind of products. So we've got a great winner here that's going to cleanse the blood. And then all specifically designed, of course. And then, all right, let's have a look at Triphala, which is a great one. It's 3 enzymes. So we have our normal digestive enzymes, and the role of the digestive enzyme is to, if taken not at the same times as meals, it will go in and it will cleanse the blood of all the protein fibers. Because normally, if you're not breathing properly, you will have a problem with digestion, not only fat, also protein. So you start getting these protein fibers in the blood, which also clog the blood and slow it down. And if the blood's slowing down, that's when everything can start sticking and everything goes wrong. So that's very, very important. The Triphala has got 3 fruit enzymes in it. And it's used specifically as a gut and blood cleanser. It also has an effect on the liver, just to tell you, because enzymes work obviously everywhere. And it also has an effect on breaking the biofilm, the mucousy sludge that the parasites and pathogens all live in. So it will dissolve all of that, which also makes the blood thinner. Should the parasites be in the blood, generally they are, and then the blood will flow and the Zeta potential will come back. The Triphala is a great one to bring into, condition the blood and clean it. So, this can be taken anytime. It doesn't have to be with food or not with food. If you take a normal digestive enzyme with food, it'll digest your food first. The Triphala works differently. It will go to the blood specifically, which is very, very convenient. Most of these products have got many, many uses. So also the Triphala has got a very high level of shikimic acid, antiplatelet aggregation. So we're working on 2 things here. We're working on the red blood cells not clumping, and we're working on the platelets not clumping as well. The other foods, star anise and fennel, also have quite high shikimic acid levels. And none of these are toxic, so you don't have to worry about the source of them. And then the Schizandra berry which is our main herb in our liver cleanse, by the way. Also wards off radiation. Great, great adaptogenic herb, which will work with stress too, and clean the liver, but also has antiplatelet aggregation activity. So that's just fantastic. And there, the echinacea will also work on the platelets. Echinacea, you're familiar with, it's in our blood vessel cleanse and restore. And then our oils. So let's just talk about oils a little bit. Cold pressed oils, please, everybody, not the heated variety. Heated oils, oil that's been exposed to air or light, will cause the blood to be thick. I see it every time. So even with using the cold pressed olive oil, I'm seeing clumping. There must be something to do with mass production. I'm not sure. But anyway, we go for the flaxseed oil, the highest life force oil, meaning that the electrons, the atoms are very tightly bound to the middle proton and neutron. So flaxseed oil will thin the blood, in particular, and even more if you've blended it with the no-fat cottage cheese, the Budwick recipe, because then it's totally water soluble. That's important, very important, and there's a massive release of oxygen from the Budwick blend. And I did post it before on our group, so if you just page backwards, upwards, you'll find it, if you haven't deleted it all. Okay, so the oils, sesame seed oil, full of vitamin E, avo, also full of vitamin E. Vitamin E, all right? Vitamins are enzymes. Let's get that straight, okay? From 1 to 20, vitamin Bs are enzymes, coenzymes, CoQ10, any of those are enzymes. The RNA DNA, by the way, has the 5, the CoQ10 has got 1, it's got adenine ATPase. The RNA DNA has got 5. It's got the uracil, the guanine, the adenine, the cytosine, and the thymine, ATPase. So wherever you see CoQ10, substitute RNA DNA, the replica product, because you're getting 5 of them, not 1. So ASE means enzyme, just by the way. So very, very important product, that the RNA DNA, on its effect on the blood. So oils, as I said, but just make sure that they're not rancid. Be very careful. But you do find all the fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin A, they all work on the blood, but particularly vitamin E. And then we make use of the infrared sauna. Those of you that are close to the center in Johannesburg, I really urge you to come, because it's a magnificent way of removing free radical damage, degenerative tissues and cells. It goes into the body by 4 centimeters, totally rejuvenates the body, the skin, the digestive system. It kills the parasites. It dissolves the oils, the fats, the lymphatic system. And so we use it particularly for blood cleansing, and obviously for ultimate oxygen carrying capacity. So if we do somebody's blood on the microscope before the infrared sauna and then after the infrared sauna, you won't believe it. Again, there's a movement in those red blood cells, just like the almost, just like the cell vitality, just like the iodine, and the Zeta potential is returned, and we just have a beautiful blood picture. It's nice and clean. We've already cleaned all the mess out of the infrared. Infrared sauna is a wonderful thing to add to potentiate your detox and your cleansing on a weekly basis. I think most people, if you can, two infrared saunas a week is incredible for health. Our ancestors knew about sweating. They knew about the value of it, in addition to exercise, which I'm coming to now. Let me just see here. There's the exercise. It gets the blood moving, it gets oxygen to the cells, and it will remove the waste. That's a very important thing about exercise. And then, of course, adequate hydration, because if you've got cells that aren't hydrated properly, they're thicker and they also lose their charge. So these are some of the new ways to prevent blood clotting. And I hope you're taking some notes here, because we can definitely improve our lot very easily and very quickly. Now, of course, one of the things I haven't mentioned here is earthing and grounding. So the same thing. you do somebody's blood under the microscope and take the photographs and everything. They go outside barefoot on the grass, on the soil, on the beach, better if it's wet because even more electrons will go in quicker. And you then come and put the blood back on the microscope and you will see amazing blood. The Zeta potential is returned. And it's mostly because the electrons have worked like an almost gold. The electrons from the earth, they've worked like a vitamin C. They've worked like our phyto C. They've worked like an enzyme, like the Triphala. And they have cleared toxicity. The blood is thin from earthing. And the Zeta potential of the red blood cells is there. And the platelet aggregation is down. So really, do we really need to take warfarin? I'm not sure. I don't think we do. I think we need to adjust our lifestyle. And most people that are on blood pressure tablets, which will eventually, they'll end up on cardiac heart tablets, is due to a thick blood that's not moving because the breathing's not right, the food is overprocessed, the lifestyle is not appropriate, and too much sitting, and the blood just thickens and the blood pressure will then go up. The plaque collects on the side of the vessels. They become inelastic. So many of these foods I'm going to show you now also improve the elasticity of the vessel, which is critical for blood pressure too. So let's have a look and see. I've got some other foods here which may be surprising to you, some of them, and others not. So why do people take an Ecotrin, a type of a Disprin? It's because of the salicylic acid. So salicylic acid will keep the blood thin. And here are foods that will naturally do that. The top food, the ginger, the almonds, the apples, most vegetables, cherries, coffee, all contain acetyl salicylic acid. Cayenne pepper as well. So now you should have a nice little list next to you of the foods that are going to get that blood moving optimally. Garlic will inhibit platelet aggregation. It will also kill parasites. Turmeric contains curcumin, which is a natural anticoagulant. Beautiful. Who doesn't like turmeric? Who doesn't like turmeric on their food? Here's another one, cinnamon. Who doesn't like cinnamon? There's one blood group that doesn't like cinnamon. Anyway, it contains coumarin, all right, which is a natural blood thinner found in warfarin. So do me a favor. Who doesn't want a teaspoon of cinnamon every day? It's also going to lower the blood pressure, the blood sugar. Just go for it. Put it on your breakfast. Put it in your if you're having tea or coffee or something, or reishi tea with some cinnamon, and make that turmeric latte or whatever with a warm turmeric latte or something with the turmeric. It's divine. It's just amazing. I love the turmeric and cinnamon together. And then the product ginkgo biloba. Now, apart from oxygenating the brain, it improves the blood circulation due to its effect in creating nitric oxide. You see the oxygen popping up there again. So ginkgo biloba is amazing. We have all of this. We have the ginkgo biloba, by the way, in our brain fuel. And we have it in our supercell oxygen. And then the oils we talked about already. And what I didn't mention earlier, the flaxseed contains ALA with a natural enzyme to break it down into DHA and EPA, which are, now we're talking about our omegas. And the omegas will also make nitric acid. And then we've got our favorite pineapples, which virtually work across the blood groups. And they have an enzyme called bromelain. And that enzyme will go and clear away the protein fibers in the blood and anything else that an enzyme will dissolve, like, for example, the biofilm, same as the Triphala, keeping the blood thin, keeping that charge around the cell membranes, and removing broken down platelets, degenerative platelets, white blood cells, because the white blood cells will, every 13 days they renew. The red blood cells every 40 days. So, they're breaking down as well. They also need to be removed. And then one of our favorites is the dark chocolate. So all of you can treat yourself, especially if you buy the organic raw cacao powder. or nibs or something, and use it. I wouldn't heat it, but you can use it also in your smoothies and stuff. That's got flavanol, which is good for breaking up platelet clumps. So these are all things that are everyday foods. Most pantries have these already in them. Most fruit bowls do, and it's just interesting to see. And now I'm going to move on to our time crystal pendant, and the simple reason is I am seeing thinner blood in people, in myself included, moving more smoothly. Why? Because a scalar wave is an electromagnetic wave. It's a field anyway, and we are electromagnetic beings. And we need to hold the scalar wave in a sustainable way so that we can protect ourselves, ward off the negative aberrant forces in any shape or size. And we need to hold the scalar wave. Now, that red blood cell that you saw earlier is also has a torsion field, also is a scalar wave. The liver, cells, and tissues are also scalar wave. The blood, the heart, the brain, every single cell in our body has a scalar wave. So if we are wearing something like a time crystal, all right, which is offering a sustained scalar wave on every level, on every cell, and every tissue, including the blood, we're going to have a massive effect on keeping the red blood cells apart, keeping the toxins away, and preventing the platelets from agglutinating. So I just wanted to bring this in because they're available now. Those of you who are new, I haven't seen some of you before. Go and have a look on the website, the 365 Healthy by Choice website. Select time, and type the word time in there, and these devices will pop up and you can have a look and see. A lot of information there as well. Is it still necessary for people to take Ecotrin when most of their diet includes? Well, I think, Sandra, you probably, you have your answer yourself. But, eating these things is one thing, and it's also about dosage. If you're having a sprinkle of cinnamon, it's not really going to go too far. If you're having a sprinkle of turmeric, it's a great question. It's not going to go too far. We're talking about, a teaspoon to half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of these very, very specific food nutrients. Garlic as well. Garlic, you don't want to eat garlic every single day, probably every third day. It affects the brain on a mental level. So whilst, yes, it's natural antibiotic, you don't want it every day, but you do want it. So also, if you carry on smoking, if you never touch the ground, if you're not hydrating properly, if you're not taking in any antioxidants, if you're letting the free radicals just rise up, if there's a cell phone mast or a mini tower near you, you're going to be getting bombarded with the wrong radiation, which is going to cause the clumping. So I think each case represents its own space. I've really thrown a lot at you to say, right, you know what, guys, get a grip on this, because we can manage this naturally. If we do a bit of all of this, the chances of our blood being thin are not great. That's really thick, and of the clumping and the agglutination of the platelets and things. So yeah, as I say, a very, very great question. So it's all about, at the end of the day, if we just summarize, it's about our life force. Life force, the higher your life force within you, the higher your electromagnetic field, the tighter your atoms are spinning around the proton and the neutron, like in the flaxseed oil, like the almost gold. So the tighter your spin, the quicker your spin, the higher your life force, the better your scalar wave, the more healthy and strong your torsion field to protect you, to ward off incoming negative aberrant forces. Do you see what I'm saying? So those people who are lucky enough to already have one of these devices, and we're getting a whole lot more sent out tomorrow, do yourself a favor. It's an experience to feel like this, apart from all the other things and your raised awareness and decision making and so on. The health benefit is huge. So that's just really what we have available. And what we're doing, and to maximize our client and ourselves, to respect the scalar wave. You can see it here beautifully. So there's the torsion field in the middle. And remember, you played this game with magnet filings at school, most probably. So there's a golden mean coming up, the yin, and there's a golden mean coming down, the yang. Golden mean spiral. We have all of this in here in this lifetime crystal. It's a living battery that on a continual basis is providing us with the sustained scalar wave. So we're encouraging you to consume life force foods, which have the scalar wave, the quantum medicine, quantum foods, food state foods, exactly as nature intended it, spring water, all have this natural scalar wave. And so when you consume it, it's naturally assimilated into the body. When you consume tap water, which is unstructured, takes our energy to try restructure it and deal with any of the pollutants in there. Processed food, too much heated food, the body has to reorganize it using its own energy. And we're trying to conserve the energy all the time so that we can ward off those unexpected day-to-day stresses and toxins that are coming at it, to ease the load on our detox organs, to just tie up with how I started all of this. So this is what we're doing, and it works. It's magic. So our results speak for themselves. We do have it sewn up. And then, so all of the products I've talked about, you can get on the website, on the shop. You can purchase directly. You can purchase as an affiliate. So our affiliate program is amazing because you get 7% to start off with, and then there's certain sales volumes that need to be met in order to then go to the 10%, 12%, and 15% levels as affiliates. So you then get to market the products, build your business, and you earn your 7%, 10, 12, 15% commission. So that affiliate program, go and have a look at that as well. It's a free join up, but you are expected to buy and use and consume 4 products a month, which I think is reasonable because we want case study people. We want people to walk the talk with authenticity. So that's our lovely affiliate program. And then we also have a binary level system that people can come into as well. And you can refer people underneath you. And on that first level, you will get 12%. And then it goes down to about 4%. And that's sort of, I was going to say gentlemanly affiliate program, but I think you know what I mean by saying that. So a very lovely program there for you to build a business. So you need to become an affiliate first, obviously, and then you can sign people underneath you. You ask me and we'll open it up. Okay, and the affiliates will get paid at the end of every month on a commission based on the sales, and the MLM runs as well. So we link to wonderful international e-commerce site, and we have been for the last 8 years, and it's just beautiful. It's automated and everything runs very, very, very smoothly. So I'm delighted to be announcing this. And we also have practitioner options, and we also have bulk options, bulk purchase options. So we've kind of catered for whatever your needs might be. And again, the world's your oyster because we have the most amazing quantum medicine nutrients in the food state form. We also have quantum devices. They're all on there. You can go and you can have a look and speak to me to order. That would be the Skio, the Eductor, the QUEX. We now have our scalar wave time crystal device, which so far the results and the research are amazing, evidence-based. So measured on a validated device, and what people are saying. The next step would be double-blind trials, which is all in the pipeline. So very, very, very nice to do that. So these are opportunities to work in a very clean, high life force, high energy space, and to go and share it and encourage more and more and more people to get well. we run on a sort of a 3-phase program where we reset, restore, and we rejuvenate. And for example, if the Zeta potential is out, if the cell membrane's blocked, we're hardly going to throw nourishment at the cell because it's just going to not get absorbed and give the body work to do, energy to remove it all. So we will get all the electromagnetic charge right, we will get the minerals right in the body, and then we will look at the biological interface and bring in the nutrients and then rejuvenate. And we live on a maintenance platform basically from there of about 4 or 5 products, so that we had a good pivotal starting point at any time at any day to ward off the aberrant, negative aberrant forces, call it that. And then with a sustained scalar wave, I think it's the cherry on the top. So, my life, work and everything, I think I've just about achieved the aims that I set out. I think now it's really a question of spreading this out to the world. And so more and more people can avail themselves to true natural health and restore their authenticity, the original organic self, which is really, I think, the bigger end result of all of this. So you're welcome to contact the center for bookings. You can book online as well for consultations. There's lovely courses to enlighten yourself with as well. And yes, good luck and enjoy it all. And it's been fantastic speaking to you. I hope you've learned a lot. So take it out there and share. And any further questions, put them on the WhatsApp group, please. WhatsApp me individually. That'll be great too. And I think most importantly, have a break from all the distraction, the distortion, the lies, and all of that kind of thing. I think we really do know it now. And we need to step aside and put all of that there and witness what's happening, not be part of what's happening. I've said this before, but really witness what's happening from an observant point of view. We talked about the 3 brains last night. So we've got the mind where we're observing, which if you let the mind only work, you're using 80% of your energy. We've got the consciousness, seat of consciousness mind, which is the heart. And then we have the abdomen, the gut, which is our awareness. So what we want to do is drop all the information and clear the brain, the consciousness right down into the abdomen. We want to operate in a centered. Centered means operating from the gut. I think it's actually it is the primary brain, in fact, because it's taking into consideration, you are observing with awareness. You are in your consciousness with awareness, and you're making decisions with all of that intact. And that is, cool, calm, and collected, and in the real presence, the real present form, powerfully present. So that's my best shot for today, guys. Anything more, let me know. And it's a pleasure. Nice to see you all. All right, go and have a great rest of the day. And take the good vibes out. Good vibes are important. We need good vibes at the moment. And you are in control of who comes to you. You have your own Zeta potential. That was really what I wanted to say. This scalar wave, you have your own Zeta potential. You have your own plane around you. So you can also allow the right people near you and, not get stuck on the wrong ones, or be careful of people who might not have the right charge too, because they could easily suck off you. You know what I'm saying? So be selective also who you spend a lot of time with, and help those who need help. Right? It's about compassion. Love, compassion, and gratitude. I think we can't really replace any of those. And when you're in the seat of your abdomen, that is when you can really operate with love, compassion, and gratitude. All right. Okay, everyone. Bye.